It's another edition of Gagelive. Today we are talking to Abasiama Idaresit. He was here last week, and the internet was a bit distracted us a lot. We are hoping it comes in soon. It's going to be an interesting one. If you work with a brand or you own a brand, it's good. We will have a lot of information on how to build brands, even in this period where we have situations regarding the pandemic. So once Idaresit incidentally is the first Google Adwords partner in Nigeria. So it means that he's a voice. He was able to secure that kind of partnership because of his depth of knowledge when it comes to the digital space. Once he gets in, then we can start asking questions. But I know that if you work with brands or you own a brand, this is the kind of platform, this is kind of section you don't want to miss, because it comes promising. And while we wait for other people to join us very soon, it will interest you to know that Gagelive has been on for over 8 weeks. 8 weeks now? Yes, 8 weeks now. So it means that we've had lots and lots of interesting people come on the platform to talk about what they do and how they've been able to use it to impact and also share messages online, how they've used their platform to create changes in the tech space. So we are waiting for Abasi to join us. Once he joins us, then we'll be ready to start the section. And also the other audience, we're expecting more people to join very soon, so that we can get Abasi. Yes, so it's been interesting what's been happening in the digital space. If there's any time where the digital space has become influential, it is now, where you have need for some kind of social distance, even though we have social network that's supposed to now connect us beyond physically getting in touch with ourselves, but we can still do all the interesting things we used to do. We just heard recently that Jeff Bezos has been touted to being a trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire. Some nations don't even have that. It means he can even buy nations, because why? Because he's on the digital space, the digital platform. That's how influential the digital space has become to us in the world. The only reason they were able to do all that, to talk about his influence and how much they monetize his influence, is because of this period, this social distance period that we're experiencing now. The pandemic has created a need for us to not have one-to-one interaction, but still have reasons to do all the things we used to do. So naturally, if you still shop, you should know that if you still shop, you will still eat. So you now do most of your shopping online, right? So some people are capitalizing on this kind of environment to build mega brands. I don't know about Nigerians, and we've had a government that they did not classify the digital space and online shopping and all the online companies as essential services, while the West were doing the same thing. We're classifying these guys, and they're now becoming tech trillionaires. They are being touted to be trillionaires in a few years. We had our own space where our government didn't put them as part of the essential service. So it means that we are not even creating the environment for tech heads to rise above all the how do I put it now? To rise above the problem we are having, all the environmental factors, all the policies that are not right. These are all problems that are pressing down on the innovative mind. So he has to think about the policies of the government. Instead of thinking of ways to go around things and creating interesting environment for business to thrive, for entrepreneurship, he now has to think about. He has to think about the environment. He has to think about the infrastructure, which actually forced us to push this section to this week, because we had a system that the infrastructure was not giving us a smooth communication. So we had all of that affecting us. So it was a big issue. It's something that we need to really deal with as a nation. And when you have tech minds that are thinking beyond the environment, thinking that, okay, how can we create enterprise that will rise above all of these adversities and still create employment opportunities and create reasons for growth to take place in an economy that is having all of these impediments. You know that we are very strong in the country. So we are waiting for Abasiama to join us. But meanwhile, before he joins us, if there's anybody that would like us to talk about this situation, I mean, what you think should be happening, just send a message and we'll put you on live before Abasi joins us. So we are having this engagement. If what you think about this situation, what do you think it creates room for innovation, even with the policies that are not right? Is it part of the innovative process that the mind can use and rise above all of this and come up with something interesting? Or is it, and who knows, it may even be the infrastructural facility that's also affecting Abasi now from even joining this. That's how the system will operate. So if you want to join us on the live, just notify, and then we'll bring you in. Then we have a nice conversation before Abasi joins us, so we can talk about these things. These are the kind of we are facing. So if you want to join us, we can join us as quick as possible, so that we can have an interesting conversation. But otherwise, we may have to get in touch with Abasi. We just don't know how much of his what has happened in terms of the infrastructure or of any force majeure. Are you guys willing to join the conversation? We can have one or a few people come in and have the. I'm hoping that he joins, and then we can just have a nice little conversation about the environment, what we are passing through. Let's just banter until Abasi is able to join us, then we can take it up from there. Is anybody ready to join this conversation? Annie, are you there? If you're there, wave and let's add you on. Also, do we have more people joining? So while we, what we are going to do is to get in touch with Abasi. Once we are able to get in touch with Abasi, then we quickly join the live section. Yeah, we're talking about telecom infrastructure, and not just telecom infrastructure. It's even more than telecom infrastructure. We're talking about the telecom infrastructure and even government policies. Phone call. You want to join the conversation? We're all part of the system. If we have if we have this conversation, we are talking about the system and what is affecting us as individuals in our environment. We are all tech minds. One of the reasons you you're in this section is the fact that we are so let's talk about the
Hello.
structural.
Yeah.
We are waiting. I can see. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's great having this. I was
Okay.
just I just joined in anyway. So when you were talking about infrastructure, the special guest not being able to come in, I was wondering what kind of infrastructure you were talking about. Does government policy affect him not being able to join us right now? How does government policy affect that?
No. It's not. We talked about infrastructure as as an issue, and we talked about government policy stifling. We compared what was happening in Nigeria today to what's happening globally. We just heard that in a few years' time, Jeff Bezos will be a trillionaire. That's based on the fact that he has used. I think our guest has joined in. Let's join in quickly, and I'll call it. We can have this conversation again. Okay. Yeah. So let's see how. Let's wait for Mr. Abasi to join, and then let's have the conversation. We're hoping to have an interesting conversation with Abasi. The way this internet is suspect again, the way it's acting, it's taking time for us to connect with Abasi. I hope we're not going to have the same problem we had last time. Yes, so as I was saying, phone call. What I was talking about was it's not the fact that government policy is affecting infrastructural development in terms of the tech space. What I'm talking about is the fact that the government policy did not create room to add these guys, the tech guys, the online entrepreneurs and all that as essential services, so that you can have online shopping, you can do all of that during the lockdown. So that is a problem. It's a major problem. In the US and other Western countries, the only reason they're even touting today that Jeff Bezos may be the first trillionaire in the world in a few years' time is the fact that the whole pandemic issue has given need for online shopping, to increase the need for all that. A lot of things, this social distance has created room for more connection beyond the physical. So naturally, all these things affect when you're making propositions and how things move beyond what we see. They're a major factor. So we're still waiting for. We've tried to connect with Abasi. It's the internet is going to be an issue, and if the internet is an issue again, we may just I don't know what we are going to do, because it's an interesting section. We're talking about technology. We're talking about how brands in Nigeria are making the most of the digital platform, what they can do better than what's happening. It's going to be a very interesting. I've got very interesting questions. He needs to give us predictions on shopping habits, shopping patterns of Nigeria within the next 5 to 10 years. That's. I mean, we're hearing from an expert. It tells you that even you as an entrepreneur, you may want to jump, maybe just resign from your job and say, let me even go into online shopping. So it's going to be. It's meant to be an interesting session with Abasi. I just hope that he's able. We are still waiting. The connection is still. He's here. He's in the room, but the connection is. Abasi, this is not our own connection problem. I think this is your connection problem. Well, you exist. You don't exist in isolation. You exist in Nigeria, so it means that it's the Nigerian factor. So we are going to ask him: is it very important the way some brands they just want to go viral? Hey, I want to go viral. Is that a strategy or is part of a strategy? How important is going viral compared? I mean, some brands after going viral, then what next? They don't take advantage of what they've put in place. Is there a strategy before going viral that they can hop on to become something very important? So these are some of the things that we're supposed to discuss with Abasi. He will throw some light. Yes, the problem we are facing is connecting to our guests. It's a major it's a major problem. So there are interesting stuff that we are supposed to get information from him. How do we connect? What is most important? Is it the brand or the audience? How do we connect the audience with the brand? Should we invest more in the audience or invest in the brand? So we can't get Abasi to join us. It's such a sad thing that our infrastructure. Okay, we are hoping that one day this kind of environment will create room for innovation. Innovative minds can take advantage of this kind of environment and come up with something interesting. I might have to, hi, Abasi. He's here, he's waving us, but he just can't connect. That's an infrastructural problem. And I have series of questions to have with him that will take us deep. Yeah, he's here, but we can't. We're trying to go live with him, and we've tried once, and we're hoping that we can do it again. We just hope that he's able to just see his face. Wow, it's good to have you, man. You made me hold down these guys for more than how many minutes? 15 minutes. I've been holding this guy down.
And trust me,
I'm not a
you're absolute. Listen, I completely understand, and I would be doing and giving my very best. You did such a brilliant job, especially with the other gentleman that was online. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. How is your Saturday going?
Very well. We just have to improvise and speak as possible.
Right.
And I do hope that we keep building our audience as we go, and the infrastructure doesn't become a problem. So I'll just jump straight into some of the. Finally, we are excited that you are here. So last week we were talking about how much of your knowledge of the African landscape you've got the Kenyan experience, you've got businesses in Kenya, you've got in Ghana, and then you have in Nigeria. What is Africa's biggest setback in terms of technology that impedes the growth of the digital sector?
Okay, there are a number of challenges. Obviously, first of all, thank you very much, everyone, and for having me back again. Last week we struggled with infrastructure. That's what it is like doing business in Africa. So yes, in terms of Africa, it's an emerging economy, it's an emerging market, and with emerging market, one of the biggest drawback and holdback is actually infrastructure. Whether it's Southeast Asia or South America or Africa. In the different parts of Africa, it varies. So take for example, while power is a bit stable in other African countries like Kenya or Ghana, it's a much bigger problem in Nigeria. And while there's much better power or much better power stability in Ghana, digital professionals, there are a lot more digital professionals in Nigeria than in Ghana. While Kenya has a lot more sophisticated digital human infrastructure in terms of human beings and expertise and all that stuff. So it varies, and it varies with the different countries.
Environment.
Eldorado would be about having very good physical infrastructure, power, and also human infrastructure in terms of people with expertise and with skills that are willing to work and also contribute. Yeah.
Do you think brands in Nigeria are making the most of the digital platform, particularly social media, or are there gaps that you feel should be filled? Things are not going as you get as a professional. Do you think our brands are making the most of it?
I think the brands are using digital and doing it very well, and I also think they're doing their very best. But there are obviously gaps, lots of gaps, and these are gaps that when you go into meetings and you try to sell and say, listen, nobody's filling this gap, a lot of times they don't listen to you. Sometimes it could be based on budget. Sometimes it could be based on the immediate needs. A classic example of a gap is there's some digital execution that you start today. You're not going to start seeing the result till the month of September. But when it comes, it's just going to come in trickles. And by March, you would be on top of the world. But how many brands are willing to be patient for 9, 10, 12 months without seeing any value till the 12th month? You know, so it's not very easy for them because they're also getting used to this. Most people are very, most people want results immediately. Most people want to press X and get the cost and effect of pressing X right now. But in terms of the long-term strategy of digital, in terms of going through the route of having to build organically and strengthen your use the organic part of brand awareness and brand reinforcement. Not a lot of brands have the patience, the capital, to sow the seeds and wait months to get the result.
So should brand have
that is one gap that is
should brand have a social media philosophy or plan? Do you think every brand should have a social media philosophy and plan right now?
Absolutely. I mean, whatever is what doing is what doing well, and whatever is what doing is what doing well and what planning for. And if you're going to do anything and do it well, you have to plan for it. You need a blueprint. You can't just start building a house. You need a blueprint. You need an architect to draw the plan of getting that house off from bottom up. So it's so important to have a plan, even including small businesses. I want to be able to use technology. I want to be able to use digital. At least have a basic plan. Sketch something on a white piece of paper, on an A4 paper. Draw something up and stretch it across a period of time based on the skills you have, based on the capacity you have, the resources you have, and that resources could be your human capital in terms of your expertise, or financial capital in terms of who you know and who can help you with things. But it's so important to have a plan. It's so important to have a plan. You win first on paper and on blueprint before you roll out.
Some brands also say, hey, I want to go viral. So it means that, hey, whatever it is, let me just sign an influencer. Let me just get an influencer to help me go viral, right? And they don't take advantage. There's no plan before going viral. So there's this curve. They've gone viral and they just go down again, in terms of that space. Is there a plan that should be put in place before going viral? And how important is influencers? I just want to get an influencer to push my brand for me anyhow. How important is an influencer to digital marketing and to helping the brand meet its objective in that space?
So again, that takes us back to the blueprint. It's so important from a blueprint standpoint to understand your customers. And your customers are the people that can be influenced by an influencer. You need to know that, and if that is possible, then by all means go ahead, work with influencers, go ahead, use an influencer. And secondly, in terms of going viral, a lot of times people don't plan for this, but for you to go viral and obviously go reach people, engage with a lot of people, and whatever communication you're engaging with on social, go has an organic spread of its own. You need to understand your audience. It's the reason why you see a lot of times the musicians, especially the very good ones, they know how to come up with hit after hit. The reason why they know how to come up with, they understand their audience. They know what is good. They know that, listen, if I do it this way, they will like it. This is how my audience, this is how they respond. And that's why most people.
But does it plug with the long-term objective of the brand? If a musician just come in, hey, come on, because that's always a short-term measure. Does it plug with the long-term objective of the brand?
That's where I'm going to. That's why I'm saying it's so important to plan. So when you are reactive and just thinking of the now and now and now, you're doing that to the detriment of tomorrow. You're doing that to the detriment of 5, 10 years from now. If you think through it, if you have a blueprint, then it becomes a part of today. It becomes whatever you're doing today, that virality you got today, it's a key component of where you're going to tomorrow. You know, so nothing just happened. You didn't just run that campaign because you felt like. You didn't just go viral because you felt like. You didn't just use that influencer because you felt like. Everything all worked together to where you want to be a few years from now. So that's very key. That's very important. It's very important to plan. It's very important to have a blueprint of whatever you're trying to do.
So now, is the behavior of an online audience different from its behavior offline in terms of when you're crafting your communication? Do you have to take cognizance of the fact that these guys, there's a different kind of set of behavior that they use online, and maybe the neural parts of their brain. This is how it thinks online, and this is how they put their stuff together. And then when it comes to the offline, they think differently. So is it markedly different, or is it the same? It's the same person?
It's the same person. The online world and the offline world is the same. What will get someone upset offline would get him upset online. What would make someone fall in love and, you know, what will stir him emotionally online would also stir him emotionally offline. It is a reason why someone would say something and do something online, and then offline people would riot, people would march, people would become angry. It is the same reason why you will do something offline and immediately online you're trending. So imagine you right now, the governor is walking and you go off and you dance in front of him. Guess what will happen? You're going to trend online. And the reason why you're trending online is because you have done something that has triggered the online, behavioral pattern, even though what you did was offline. So the online world and the offline world are the same. What will get someone upset offline would also get him upset if you say it online. So that's why some people say something on Twitter and there will be reactions offline. And that's why some people will do some things offline and there will be reaction on Twitter. So it's it's one world. However, there are different there are certain level of behavioral pattern, even though it's limited, because there are certain things people do online, mainly because either because they have pseudonames, people are not watching them, or they can take this action, but it's not 100. It's not, that doesn't make them completely different from their offline behavior or who they are.
So now you talk about love, relationship, right? Okay, I'll harp on that and then we'll go somewhere else. Now, I'm building my online audience, right? Where should I put my efforts? Should I put my effort on my brand? Should I focus on my brand while building my audience, or should I focus on the audience?
Right. So
when I'm coming up with the communication, I'm coming up with the communication strategy.
So the objective of the communication strategy, first of all, is your brand. You have to think your brand first. Think of your brand first, and then by thinking of your brand, you definitely need an understanding of your audience, so that way you can achieve your brand objective while taking into consideration the needs, the sentiment, and the behavior of your audience. So that way they will go hand in hand to help you get to where you're going to. But the most important thing is your objective. Why are you doing what you're doing? Where do you want to go with it?
So I should put most of my focus on my objective, and then how does the audience play into it? What if my objective does not align, does not cross with the objective of my audience? Won't I lose that audience eventually?
So if your brand objective doesn't align with your objective of your audience, then they are not your audience. So take for example, a certain style.
So my brand must be able to define my audience, not the audience defining.
It's not. Yeah. You have to. So if you have 10,000 followers and they're following you because maybe they love your beard, I mean, it's looking really, really good, not because of your brand, but they're following you because of your beard, and then you try to sell to them and they're not buying because that's not why they're following you. Then the fact that you have 10,000 people following you doesn't necessarily mean that they're your customers. They're in love with the way you look, but they're not willing to spend money on the product you're trying to sell to them. So you have to really define your audience. It's so important that you know your audience.
So at what point now I'm cutting my brand? At what point should I sell? Should I cut them, build the relationship before going hard sell, or should I sell while it's hot?
Well, if you look at the consumer journey, there is a map, there is a path in terms of the consumer journey, from awareness to interest to purchase to loyalty. So yes, they have to be aware of the product, and after that awareness, they have to then show interest in the product. So showing interest doesn't necessarily mean how much it is or how much is it or I want one. Interest could be how does it work. Interest could be wait a minute, how can I use it? Then after you've seen a number of interests, then you now can start building. You can start selling to them. If you jump straight up to selling, sometimes without creating awareness of the product, and maybe if they're not aware about it, the functionality and the needs it provide for them, then you might end up prematurely trying to sell, and that would increase your cost per sale or your cost per conversion. Because there was no engagement. You didn't take them through that consumer journey. So yeah.
So how can I make my brand stand out? I go to a party. I want to be, let's say I'm a woman. I want to be courted. I want everybody to look at me out of the crowd, and they want to, I just have this attraction. So how do I make my brand? We've got lots and lots of. It's a World Wide Web. It's huge. It's online. Everything is there. How do I make my brand stand out of the clutter so that it's something that attracts and meets the objective of my being there at first?
Yes. So it's so important, first of all, to understand your audience. What are their needs? Are their needs being met by competition? What is the vacuum? I mean, you asked a particular question just now, and you said, is there a particular vacuum that is not being taken advantage of? Yes, there are. Yes, there is. All the brands seem to want immediate result. Nobody's sitting down to say, okay, how can I be the leader? Not today, but maybe a year from now, 2 years from now. Nobody wants to go through the long route of taking certain action that will. Let me give you a classic example, like organic search, for example. If you're a brand and you want to be number one, there are lots of brands that are, doing a lot of promotion, signing up influencers and brand ambassadors and all that stuff. But you could say, wait a minute, I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to take my time and be number one on Google search when everybody searches for this range of products that we all sell. Because being number one on Google search might take you a year to get there, but when you are there, you're literally number one. But you don't get the result immediately. So you have to understand the need of the audience. Coming back to your question, you have to understand the need of the audience. You have to understand the consumer journey. You take them through awareness, you take them through the interest, and then conversion and sale. So you're a woman, you want to get seen, there have to be awareness. You have to be seen. That's number one. And you also have to know that you have to be certain that this is what people are saying is what they want. If you're targeting the wrong people, or if you're exposed to the wrong people, you're not going to get a conversion. That's the same thing in marketing.
So if you're going to build a brand online, what is the surefire way to say yes, your brand is going to be a success? What are the things that I have to put in place to make sure that this whatever I'm going there to do online is going to be a success? Are there surefire ways?
Well, there's nothing cast in stone. There are different ways to destination. There are different ways to get to London. You can decide to, go through Kano, through the Sahara Desert, or you could decide to get on a plane, or you can decide to get on a ship that takes you through the Atlantic Ocean to London, or you can decide to go to China, then connect to US, then to London. There are different ways to get travel. It's the same thing with this thing. There are different ways to go about it. While some people, there's no sure way. A lot depends on cost. A lot depends on how fast you want to get there. A lot depends on your audience, how reactive they are. There's some products that are very sensitive. So let me give you products. Let me give you a product like legal service, for example, or pharmaceutical or medical service. I mean, you can't. These are products that, or these are services that are not supposed to be advertised in our market.
Yes.
So you can't become number one overnight. So based on that particular industry, you have to start thinking, how do I become number one? You have to go through a much more different path. So there is nothing cast in stone as this is the sure way. It varies with industry, varies with product, varies with audience. If your audience are 60 to 80 years old, those are your customers, then you have to be number one differently. You know, you will be number one differently from if your customers are 20 to 23. If your customers are female 40 to 45, then
yes,
it will be different from if your customers are male or female 18 to 22. You know, and you know, so there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it. There's nothing cast in stone.
Now you're talking about age. We know that the millennials are the most dominant online right now. I have a product that is not particularly targeted at millennials. Actually, I want to target my 45 to 50, 55. Is the internet the right place for me to go to? And how impactful is the internet to helping me meet my plans?
So it's so important to know, one, are your people actually on the internet, your target audience? Are they on the internet? If they are on the internet, by all means, why not? Go reach them on the internet. But if they're not, then you don't have to be there. You know, so if imagine you sell a product and that product is for 17 to 80-year-old, and they're not really on the internet because they're struggling, you know, with technology or with their phones or whatever, then you shouldn't be online with that type of product. Then you need to find other ways to get to them. Those ways could be, you know, mailing services, sending them printed magazine or printed content on a monthly basis or something. There are other ways to reach people. So the most important thing is you're online for a reason. You shouldn't be online because your competition is online. You should be online to market because your customers are online and predominantly there and can interact with you.
Apart from the fact that millennials have become very dominant online, must I be on all social media platforms, or should I have an evaluation and find out where I should be? Is the less the better, or the more the merrier when it comes to communicating with my audience? It's free.
So you see, if you look at all the questions that you're asking, the answer still takes us back to that blueprint. That blueprint is so important. That blueprint that says this is how I'm going to play. That my playbook, how I'm going to play over the next 2-3 years is so critical. You need to understand your audience. Where are your audience? There are some products the audience are not on Instagram. They are only on LinkedIn. There are some products the audience are not on social media. They are on search. There are some products the audience are mainly on Instagram. They are not on Facebook. There are some products your audience is mainly on Twitter. They are not on LinkedIn. They are not on Facebook. They don't even like Snapchat. There are some products the audience they are mainly on Snapchat. So understanding your audience is so critical for you to say, okay, you know what? Then where they are is where I am going to. You know, when you understand them, you understand their needs. You see how they behave online. You see that when it comes to online behavior, a lot of them are in this particular social media asset. Then by all means, be there. And if they're not on a particular social media asset, then or social media platform, then you shouldn't be there.
So where's the best place to get leads online? If I need to get information to help me make decisions, where's the best place to get it, and how do I go about it? Must I get some special software, or it's this information are available everywhere that I can just join?
No. So first of all, if I am assuming with leads, you know very well who your audience is in terms of demographic, in terms of socioeconomic class. and you know who they are. So imagine you want to get leads, or you want to know where your audience is 25 to 40, male, female, living in Lagos, middle class, then what that tells me is you can very easily run a survey on Facebook, for example, throw out questions there to them. 1,000, 3,000 to 2,000 of them fill up that survey and provide you answers. You take those answers and you begin to analyze them. Questions could be: do you like this? Which of this product do you use? Why don't you like this? Is it because of the price? What are questions around your brand and your product, and based on that insight, you use that to inform your marketing strategy.
Now, how important are testimonials to building brands online?
Testimonials are very important. They're very important because they validate products. And especially when it is visual, it's very so take testimonial. It really makes people to how this product works. Like this product.
Hey guys.
This is what it looks like before I brought the product. Now I used to look at what it looks like. This really works. And then does it very organically, maybe on his own social media page. And then you as a brand owner, you tweet or you reshare it on your own asset, and they come in lots of them. So it's very, very important. And just like what I told you about the consumer journey. So you start from awareness. So from awareness to interest and consideration, and after consideration, conversion, where they buy your product and use your product. And after that, after using your product, the last stage is loyalty. That is when they go out there to advocate, to say, wow, I used this product, it worked. The more advocates and loyal customers that you do have, the more it unlocks new stream of customers coming in to try the product. It's so important.
So now the internet has given us a true two-way while we celebrate the fact that the internet is now available. It's giving us the first time we're getting instant feedback from our audience. It also places the brand in a very precarious situation where you cannot control the information. Something wrong, the audience may just put in some funny statements about your brand online. How do you control that kind of process when some negative statements have been thrown at you for a brand online? So how does it, we're exposing the brand now to all kinds of vagaries. The audience is now having an instant feedback. I bought Milo and I saw a wall gecko in it, and this is how am I sure that you guys all kinds of things.
I would pray you don't call brand names with things like that, because you also they will write you very soon.
Okay.
So what technology does? Technology gives power to people, and I say this to people. It's because technology was developed and built mainly by Americans, and Americans are a very democratic society. So they designed that democratic nature into technology. That means empowering people, give them power, give them a voice. Give them, and I'm certain that there are a number of other cultures. If other cultures that were oppressive were the people that design technology, the customer will not have power, will not have a voice, because it's not in their they're not culturally aligned with that type of society. Most of our technology is American in nature, and so you would have a very Americanized online environment, for lack of a better word. So yes, people are very informed. Customers are more empowered these days, and it puts the brand in, I wouldn't say a negative position. It puts the brand in a very in a position where they have to be held by very high standards. Previously, you see anything you don't like in a product, you couldn't say anything. You probably would just drop it over, file a complaint, and if you were influential, you could have it on the paper. And if you're not influential, if you don't have a voice, you just throw it away and move on. But the internet is not so. The internet has empowered everyone, even if it's the top guy up there, or the guy, your security man or your gate man. They all do have power right now. They can take a picture of it, look at what I found, and they put it out there, and the technology makes transparency. Technology amplifies transparency. So that's a good thing, and that also means the brands we must hold ourselves at very high standards and ensure that what we promise people is what we deliver. So yeah, so it is a good thing.
So how do you, if I have this kind of big issue online, how do I control it? Does it expose my brand? Yeah.
Yes, it does expose your brand. So there are ways to do it. One way to do it is always, if you're conscious of your brand online, you should be listening to your brand. Listening meaning setting up tools to help you listen to every mention of your brand online. There are lots of tools out there that can analyze the sentiment, positive, negative, neutral sentiment, and you can also put on the setting that if it's negative, you want to receive an SMS. They're even setting that if it's negative, you want to receive a call back from the software. It either flashes you. So once you pick up your phone, you see a missed call, you quickly get online to check what is that negative thing that is out there. And then quickly, once you see that, you can very quickly get in to fix that problem before it gets out of hand.
We've got tools for all this.
Sorry?
Are there tools for all this online?
Yes, there are tools for it. Some tools are a combination of off-the-shelf and a bit of customization. So the one that will flash you will require some customization, depending on your needs. So it's so important to have listening tools, especially if you're the very big brand and you have millions of people, and you're in millions of homes. So take, for example, the food and beverage brands. It's very important to have those listening tools out there.
Okay. Now, they always talk about clarity. I can go to a website and I spend less than a minute on that website because the information there just too much. My mind cannot process all this information. How do we make our communication clear? And is it a major factor when we are putting up something online?
Yes, it is clarity a major factor. It is a major factor. So this is where you need specialists sometimes. And not everybody can afford a copywriter. Not everybody has that specialist skills. I've seen a number of small businesses that were started by doctors and lawyers. And when you go to the website or their asset, it is so lengthy. Why? Because their very nature is, putting in lots of content out there. But the world today, people don't want all that information. There is information overload. So they want very little, visual information that you summarize the entire page in 30 seconds video if possible. So it is very important. User experience, it is very important. There are different ways to go about it. One simple way I would suggest for small businesses would be split testing. So instead of going out there and putting out all the content on one page, try different ways of putting out this content. And you could have like maybe 3-4 different variation of your website or asset. Sorry, 3-4 of your website, for example. And 30% of your audience will come to each of them, making it 100%. And you look at the back and you see where is the most engagement. So you find out with this version of this content, people are really, really engaging with this version of this content, then you use that format for your entire website. So don't just go out there putting everything and walking away. Try to split test your website. Split testing basically it's checking the different variation of the website in a way that it's enables that in a way that you track users' experience. And what you're referring to is called bounce rate. People come on the website and they bounce up immediately. You want to reduce your bounce rate as much as possible.
I'll take you to storytelling now, which is another creative part. Now, is there a formula for writing the best stories online that will attract again your audience? The best stories. How do I put my stories together to connect with my audience?
So a lot of that depends on the audience. How some audience different audience connect differently. If your audience is 18 to 22, they will connect differently from 40 to 45. Maybe 40 to 50, they don't want visual content, they want to read. And if they are 40 to 50 and is an academic audience, They don't want you to show them. You don't want you to animate anything for them. They don't want it to have, you know, loud music. They don't want any Don Jazzy's intro on that content. You know, they want it calm. They want it well written. They want it scientific. So a lot depends on your audience. Like in digital, there is no one size fits all. There is no blueprint that it's. You need to understand your audience. That is so important. Once you understand your audience, whatever you're presenting to them has to align with who they are to be able to deliver success for you. And then you come back to your 20 to 25. You can't take academic and scientifically researched content or storytelling. You present it in a very sophisticated scientific way for them. They're just giving, why is this guy wasting my time? Am I in a science class? Is this my final year project or what? I beg, you know, off we go. They want something that's more engaging, more visual, with audio visual, with nice graphics. That goes with a very engaged. They want to be able to share it. They want to look good watching it. They want to look good when they share it with someone else. You know, so all those things need to be taken into consideration.
So part of being online is the ability to craft crisp, short, and very precise message, and then push to the audience, right?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that yes, people are getting attention span. It's reducing every single day as we go because there's information overload. There's attention deficit in the world, and it will continue to be a problem. I suspect, and this is my own opinion, 5-10 years from now, people would begin to pay for attention. To get people's attention, people will start paying at some point because it's reducing every day. Keeping content or making it short and snappy also depends on your audience. While some people, attention span is reducing, some people really want very well written, long. The medium crowd, the guys that love medium, they want to read. They don't want you to animate anything for them. If they want visually stimulating content, they will go to Instagram or they will go to YouTube. I have lots of friends that are very active on Twitter because they prefer written content with very little visual. They prefer that to very visually stimulating content. So I know lots of people on Twitter that don't have Instagram pages. You know, so it all depends. It all depends on who your audience is. It all depends on what motivates them and trigger their interest.
So now, okay, I'll come to you now. We're going to the place where we'll talk about you. But what tips will you give to budding technology entrepreneurs, guys that want to get into that space, considering our environment? What tips are you going to give to them so that they are strong enough to go to weather the storm?
So the tip I will give to budding entrepreneurs will be understand your audience. It's very important. So understand your. Sorry, hold on a second. I needed to.
Okay.
So understand your audience. It's very, very important, and at the same time to ensure that whatever you're offering hits bullseye in terms of exceptional service, as it is an exceptional product, and it solves the problem 120%, and consistently deliver such value to your audience consistently over time. Let excellent be your watchword in whatever you're doing. Be exceptional. Really and truly, don't worry about the competition. As long as you focus on satisfying your audience, you would continue to grow. I mean, I'm not saying don't know your competition. I'm saying yes, do not get obsessed with what your competition is doing. Do not keep looking at your back or looking at the side. Just be consistent in delivering exceptional service and product, and doing that consistently over time.
So what should I put first? The money for survival or the passion?
In what context? Can you break it down, please?
I mean, what should I put first? Is it the money so I can survive, or the passion?
Survival is important. I think if you have the bandwidth to build a product while you're surviving, if you can survive without chasing money yet, but just so that you can have a good product. I would say invest in the product and the planning, because at the end of the day, it pays for itself. But if it's not possible, please put both of them together, the passion and the money. So you can start small. Let me at least have something to put food on my table. And that could be from either freelancing or it could be either from starting very small, or maybe having a full-time job first, and the rest of that.
So what do you love best about being a technology entrepreneur?
What do I love best being an entrepreneur?
A tech entrepreneur, yeah.
Well, I think it's the technology is very exciting. It's very liberating. I don't know any other thing else in my life. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what it is like being a lawyer or being a medical doctor. But the sector is very liberating in the sense that it empowers you. It's a knowledge play. The more you know, the more powerful you are. So it's so important to just keep, taking in knowledge and using that to solve problems. In a way that people come back to you and say, wow, you fixed it. Oh, thank you. That's very fulfilling. That's very exciting. That's very, that gives me the kick. So every single day doing that, waking up to do that every single day, it's what keeps me going.
So what's your most loved tech device?
My most loved tech device? Oh, God. So when you say device, you're referring to it. Okay, so I guess you're saying a hardware. I love my laptop, to be honest. I prefer my laptop. My phone, not really, but I prefer my laptop because my laptop is quite serious. My phone, it's more playful than serious. It takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of my time.
The laptop brings the money faster.
The laptop brings the money, but the phone takes a lot of time. So I prefer my laptop. Oh God, you got me there, right? Yes.
So you love. The best time anybody will say is the laptop that is the most loved tech device.
So yes, for me it's my laptop, and I use a MacBook Air. I think it's a good product, an Apple product. I'm not advertising, but I think it's a good product.
So what book are you reading right now?
What book am I reading? So I do read lots of magazines, business and news magazine. I'm slowly getting addicted to Medium Post.
To what?
To Medium Post. So lots of writers are creating like mini books on Medium, and I find myself reading that every single time. I find myself going to Medium almost on a daily basis to read. So in terms of a book, there is a book I'm reading, but I'm not yet done reading that book, The Lean Startup. Hopefully I will be done soon, but I'm not yet done. So a combination of news business magazine, print, news business magazine on my mobile phone, The Lean Startup, and on a scale of if you're looking at the pie chart, Medium will probably take 80% of my reading time.
Do you cook?
Do I cook?
Yes.
Well, I hope yes, I really do, but I love to cook. I love to make faita. That's one thing that's one thing I used to impress the missus.
That sounds like a very long time ago. It sounds very long time ago.
No, I still do, and it's very easy to make. So yes, I can make rice and I can make beans. But if I want to go very sophisticated, I will do it. I will have chicken faita.
So what do you cook? When you're going to the kitchen and you want to make something for the house, what do you make?
I can make rice. I can make beans. I can make rice. I can make beans. I can make. I can warm whatever has been made.
Your beans is going to be very, very sweet.
Yes, I hope so. I really hope so.
Okay. What's your favorite quote?
Sorry?
Your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Oh, I have a number of quotes. I'm not favorite. Jeez, man. I didn't see that coming. have a number of quotes, and it borders around. Jeez, I'm lost completely right now. Like I know I do have a number, but I can't remember anyone right now.
It's going to go off, and I'll put you on. I just want your favorite quotes, and then we end.
So,
okay, you've got something now.
Yes, I do have something. So it's a quote by Richard Branson. I really like this quote, and it says, "Opportunities are like buses. When one leaves, another one comes. So if you're on a bus stop, when one leaves, another comes. So if you don't get on the first bus, you can get on the second, you can get on the third, you can get on the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So they keep coming and coming. That you just have to be. No, it doesn't. So if you tried something and it did not work, for example, another opportunity will come. If you miss an opportunity either because you were not ready, another one will come. They're like buses. They come and they go, and they will always keep coming.
Wow. Thank you so much. We had a good time. Every part of this